and today I want to share this book with you. I have recently featured it on my channel. It's fantastic for color palettes inspiration and for interior designers, people who are starting, and people who just want to have some sort of inspiration on their bookshelf, even if they're, I guess, professionals. So yeah, great book. It is by Hans Blomquist and it's called In the Mood for Color, Perfect Palettes for Creative Interiors. Although it says interiors, you can also translate it into art, of course. There is photography by Debbie Trelor and also Hans Blomquist. I hope I pronounce his name correctly. So, this is how it starts. And the book has been published in 2016 and republished, I think, in 2021. We have contents. It's nice and simple. Basically, we have introduction, a world full of color, dark, pale, natural, soft, and bold. So then we also have things like credits, index, etc. So, introduction, learn a little bit about the author, how he came to deal with color and why it's such an important subject for him. And then we have got loads of beautiful photography here. Also, I'd like to go back quickly to say that Hans is actually interior stylist. There's a lovely quote here. So it says, "Color is powerful. It can change our moods or raise our spirits. Pick the right shade and it can be positively life enhancing." So it goes on talking about how when we choose colors for our homes and do interior design, how often we feel scared to use color because it can be intimidating, it can quickly just become too much, and we go back to using safe colors, and how you can learn to use color effectively so that it would be balanced rather than kitsch. So here we go, we've got the dark chapter starting. Beautiful photography, as you can see. It has that sort of lovely kind of a look of canvas and paint. It really is appealing to artists. I find you can get so much inspiration from these pages. Beautiful color. You can just look at some nature elements and see how lovely this juicy, almost chartreuse green works with this kind of indigo blue little berries. And also then spread it across the other colors in these pictures for a limited color palette. Then we have Moody Blue. So basically within the chapter dark, you have a breakdown of different color categories that you can explore. So let's do this. So we're still talking about denim and layering things and what you can do. So here, for example, beautiful big pictures. This book is picture of photography focused, which I really enjoy. I appreciate good photography, and I find that apart from just filling the pages with pictures rather than text, there is a lot of information visually that you can use for example, abstract art or textural art, you know, things like the patterns, the colors, the texture of the fabrics, everything, the wood. There's so much. It's a great book. Then we have clay and earth and mud. So another dark color palette. Again, example of weathered wood and certain organic elements. Thunder, Charcoal and Night. So this is a great color palette if you are a lover of Payne's Grey. So a little bit of violet sprinkled in there just to bring some element. And what I do find works really well is a bit of gold to lift things a little bit. And then we have dramatic backdrops. And this book is probably challenging to see on the dark pages, to see in this lighting today, so I'm really sorry. Do let me know. I mean, it does have, as you can see my hand and you can see the pictures, it has this sort of bit of a hazy matte look to it, but I hope you can see it well. Do let me know if you are satisfied with the quality of the pictures and whether it provides you enough idea about the book. I mean, that's the whole point. You don't need to see everything exactly. You can decide if you want to, then obviously you can buy and get a copy for yourself. Forest and Moss and Pine. So we've got another lovely dark color. Even just this looks beautiful to me. Love the sap green with this aged dirty some sort of canvas cloth. And then we have adding nature, so some greenery. I'm a huge fan. I always tend to buy plants and add them, and quite specific with the shape of them as well. So the next chapter is Pale, and basically goes through the same idea of going through now color palettes in the pale range. So ivory, string and parchment. So for instance, I quite love this color palette. I do like to add a little bit of color to it. So let's see if there is any potential color that you can infuse it with so that it doesn't end up all one-dimensional. We can see when it comes to this color play, they suggest a lot of texture, so a lot of aged things, still all light but quite rustic. And then we have washed, bleached and weathered, so that's more of that. So to me that's kind of very similar to what we just saw before. I, not being an interior designer, can't really differentiate between the first color group and the second, because I find that both of them were quite aged and had a lot of textural effects. Now we're going into Ice, Cloud and Snow, so I think this probably will be more white rather than off-white, and still quite sort of antique. I'd like to see a little bit of color infusion in some of these, just to see what would look great with that. So it wasn't there. Now we're going into natural. So like here you can see adding a little bit of spot of color. And we have hazelnut, terracotta and wood, with a bit of lilac-y, bluey colors, green colors, just a slight variation. Then we have olive, cactus and sage. So these are lovely green colors. Wow, I mean this thing looks pretty damn old. I wouldn't sit on that. God knows how many mites there are on it. Spring and Fig and Apple. So we've got now the green color palette. So I guess visually you can, it doesn't have a breakdown of, for example, a little color wheel or something that would tell you within this color palette which colors would you combine it with. So you can do it visually and sort of see that turquoise and some sort of like dirty green gray colors and a bit of gold. These colors work nicely, and a bit of blue. So you'd need to be clever about translating it into art or whatever project you're working in. This is gorgeous. This is really, really beautiful. This sort of a thing I really appreciate. I love the color, but it's just, it's kind of, it's not screaming at you, you know, it's sitting really beautifully. When color is used in a clever way, it has a much more powerful voice than if you combine it with too many colors. So look at this, for instance, as well. This is beautiful, beautiful photography. And then we have some pompons here. That's an interesting art. You could do like pompons in little clusters and hang them as art. This is beautiful. I love this sort of 4 pictures together in line for color inspiration. This is in a way like a color wheel, but in photography form. Rose, powder and petal. So all of these have a lovely vintage look to them. I guess if you are into modernism, you still can use the color palette. Definitely. Just translate it into a modern interior design if that's what you're after. When I'm looking at all these things, is the color, the texture, pattern, and there's plenty of inspiration here, like clusters of flowers on this cotton sheet, I think it is, or this pillow. Some lovely hydrangeas. Beautiful photography. All right, so for the rest I'll just do a quick flip through because you already got the idea of the book. I think it has plenty in here, and it even has some bolder colors if that's your thing. There's a little section on that. I prefer things to be within a theme, and the color palette like this for me would be way too much of yellow. I'd like to sprinkle yellow around, but not have it so harshly present. For instance, I'd go for a yellow colored wallpaper but have some white dimensional like floral print on there, something like that, just to break it down a little bit. And red in interior for me is a no-go because I find it way too disrupting as a color. I like things to be peaceful and calm. So that's it. Then we have the address book, business credits, and final lovely picture of a butternut squash with dry hydrangea, index, and that is it. Oh, so Debbie is a London-based food and interior photographer, so they basically collaborated on this book. This is the back of the book, and of course I will link it for you. I bought it on Amazon. I'll link the Amazon link for your convenience if you want to check it out. And that is it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.